Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Jonathan Voico.
Hello, everybody.
Robert Meyer-Burnett.
Hello there.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show is where we're going to take your topics and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, or a question you'd like us to address, you have two ways to send it into the show. The first way is if you're not watching this show live, and like most people, you're watching it a little bit later in the day, you can send in a question to our tip link to be used on the next episode at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. The second way is if you are watching the show live as we're streaming live, you guys can use the super chat feature over in the live chat. And when you send in a question via the tip link or super chat, as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, we do reserve the right to not answer anything we don't think is appropriate for the show. You will see it answered on the second part of the episode. All right. With that down, guys, let's get things kicked off here, shall we? And we're going to start things off with this. Well, you might remember Netflix just raised their prices again. It seems like every 2-3 months we're talking about another streaming service raising their prices yet again. And guess what? We're not the only country that it happens. It doesn't just happen in Canada and the US. It happens around the world. It's a global shared experience. It's a small world after all. We all get to pay more for Netflix every year. Well, maybe not anywhere. Hold the phone. Forza Italia, an Italian court has just ruled, as this report in Reuters is confirming, that the Italian courts have ruled that the Netflix price hikes are illegal.
They said, not a today.
Not a today. Here we go. It is illegal. Not allowed to do it, paisan. So, and not only did they rule that the Netflix price increases are illegal, they've been ordered to do a couple of things, including rolling the prices back to the 2015 prices and refund up to 500 euros people who have been subscribed to the channel since. I broke it down in this little infographic here. Start off, why were the price hikes ruled illegal? Well, according to Italian law, if you're going to enter into a contract with a consumer, and you're going to raise prices, you have to give definitive reasons why and explain the justification for the price raising. The Italian court has ruled they never did that. Also, the Italian court has ruled that they have unfair contract terms. In the Netflix contract, they're saying, hey, we're going to give you, if we decide to raise prices, we can raise prices. We just got to give you 30 days notice. Well, the Italian courts have ruled 30 days notice, take it or leave it, is not fair notice, and that is not a fair contract term.
Wow.
That is not valid under Italian law. And you did not, and by Netflix's argument is, if you don't cancel, that's you giving consent. The Italian courts are saying that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Hence the last little point here, lack genuine consumer consent, the take it or leave it thing. Not allowed to do it. So what's the repercussion, the Italian court says? We go into the middle role there. They have been ordered to immediately roll back their prices to 11.99 euros a month. For context, as of yesterday, the Netflix account, the Netflix level at that was 20 euros. Now they've been ordered to roll it back to 11.99. Also, mass refunds. If you've been a subscriber of their premium level since that time, you are entitled to like 500 euros back. And if you've been on one of the lower tiers, you get like 250 euros back. They have to put out public notice in email and in written letter and put it in their local newspapers that everybody's entitled to this refund. And for every day that they don't do it, they're going to get hit with fines. Now, there is a third column here, the likely outcomes. Number one, Netflix has obviously vowed to appeal this. They have to, because similar cases are in front of other European courts right now, including Germany and Spain. If this holds up in the Italian courts, while it is not guaranteed it is likely that this is going to become not just an Italian problem for Netflix, but rather a European problem for Netflix. Just with the 7-8 million subscribers they have in Italy, and they got to pay them back 500 euros each. I'm not going to do the math, but that's a lot.
That's a
more
lot.
than I have. Now, if that then excludes out to Germany, to Spain, to Portugal, to wherever, this could become a real problem. And not just for Netflix. This could be the warning flare in the air for all streamers and how you do business. Now, one of the first questions I got asked this morning when I checked all my messages was, can this now also come to the US and Canada? The answer to that is probably not, because our rules and laws governing them, I think Netflix is more within those guidelines. It's just that's a little bit different in Europe. They try to do business the way they do here in Europe, but their laws are a little bit different, and it looks like it has not worked out for them.
Oddly enough, I just did do the math, and it works out to about $2.7 billion, which oddly enough is what Paramount paid them for losing out on the Warner Brothers deal.
They paid them for nothing.
So Paramount paid Italians.
The universe is a fickle mistress. So, I mean, this could be a very, very, again, Netflix's name is on the headline, but this could become a very, very big deal for every major streamer that also streams in European countries. Now, what will come of this? Who knows? Maybe Netflix will be successful in their appeal. Maybe they won't. Maybe it won't be so bad in Germany or Spain or Portugal's or Greece or wherever else this comes in court. Maybe it will, but this could fundamentally change the way that these streamers have to do things in European countries. So anyway, Rob, you saw this story. What's your takeaway from this?
Well, I mean, I think it shows that it's very important for people doing global business that they make sure that they respect the sanctity of every separate country's legal system or laws. I mean, I think if nothing else, I would imagine that no one checked this and they just figured, hey, we've got this streaming service. They figured they can do business as usual everywhere. I mean, John, I feel that in the United States, we're just getting soaked by everybody. You know, in terms of subscription services, they just keep raising prices and we all have to go along with it. And then they do things. My favorite is that I don't realize that when I've agreed to subscribe to something for a year, you know, that's my new favorite thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I didn't want to do that. It's $99 a month. And suddenly that's a lot of money. And look, if nothing else, I think it's best that people, especially these companies, start taking this under advisement because it's a better way to do business. It's better for the consumer, and I think that some of these companies are a little out of control in terms of let's just raise prices, but turning back $500 to 8 million people.
There's a legal question that I've heard debated where there was a time long ago where you could sign up for a cell phone plan. And if you entered into that contract with your cell phone company, even if the cell phone company started changing their rates, you knew about this, right? Like you would get grandfathered in. You kept your deal. I entered my deal with AT&T at these were the terms of the deal. So even if they raise their price from $15 to $20 a month, I get to keep paying $15 a month. There's been discussions I've seen had about whether or not streaming services should be subject to that. It's like, hey, you sold me a pitch for a service that you said was going to cost me $12 a month. Well, then, until you and I both agree to change the terms of that deal, I should always just have to pay $12 a month.
I rode that wave through Pacific Bell to Singular, and then AT&T said no more.
You know,
I remember that.
They changed the model now, right? Now, doesn't matter what you enter into the deal with. These companies can change the prices whenever they want, and they build it into their terms of service. Now, there's been some legal discussions about whether that should be allowed, whether that sort of item in a term of service should be legal or not. You know, I get it to a degree. Like if Netflix is spending $10 billion on creating content for me when I enter into the deal, but flash forward a few years later, and now they're spending $20 billion a year on content. Should I not then, as a member, be required to kick in a little bit more? These are all good discussions to have, but these are discussions that are going to be raised a lot now that Forza Italia has stepped forward and said, "Hey, you can't just go willy-nilly changing the terms of your deal. Pray I do not alter it further." Anyway,
And they want to go back 11 years.
they want to go back to 2015 pricing.
So do I.
So do I. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, it was good to be in the movie business back in 2019. Pre-pandemic, box office records were being broken almost every year. We had like a year where there was like 7 films that hit the $1 billion club in one year. Of course, that we had the last Avengers movie, I believe, was 2019. I think that's when Endgame came out. I mean, it was just a good time. And then the COVID pandemic hit, shut movie theaters down, and we have never quite recovered from it. The movie industry has just never recovered from it. But hopes ran high as we were heading into 2026. You guys remember that near the end of 2025, we were talking about, hey, 2026 could be a very, very big year. Probably the biggest since the pandemic happened. Well, now it's official, as outlets like The Wrap are reporting that the U.S. box office has posted its best first quarter since the pandemic. Since 2019, the U.S. box office made $1.77 billion, which is the biggest first quarter since the pandemic. If we go over and take a look at this little chart I put together here, in 2022, the box office was $1.35 billion for the first quarter. These are all first quarter numbers. 2023 was a good rebound, $1.75 billion. Then I believe that's when we got the strikes. Was around there. We went back down to 2020 in 2024 to 1.64 billion. Last year was bad, 1.45 billion in the first quarter. But this year, powered by films like Project Hail Mary, the surprise hit that was Scream, that did better than a lot of people thought it would, and several others that have done better, outperformed. We have now had the biggest first quarter since the 2019 pandemic at $1.77 billion. And what a way to kick off the second quarter than with Mario Brothers, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Forza Italia.
Again,
Nice. Well
count
done.
on Italy to always save the day. And we have now had, we're back on track to the best one. Now, it should be noted that this 1.77 billion, which while the absolute best that we've had in years, is still significantly behind what the first quarter of 2019 was. Things like 24, 25%, still below what 2019 was. But at least it's that trajectory going in the right direction. And Rob, we're about to have Michael come out. We've just had the first week of Mario Brothers. We're going to have more Mario Brothers. We got Odyssey coming. We got Toy Story coming. We got Minions coming. We get later in the year. We got Jumanji and Doomsday and Dune 3 and
Spider-Man, Supergirl,
Spider-Man,
Devil Wears Prada
Supergirl,
2.
Devil Wears Prada 2. I mean,
Faces of Death this week.
Yeah, that'll do
fans.
it.
of course,
Screening.
that's gonna alter the game right there. It's looking good. Like, everything solved now? No. Everything on the uptick. I think for the first time in a long time, we can actually say yes. Things actually starting to look like they're heading in a good direction. Anyway, Rob, you saw these numbers, surprised, not surprised, and what's your forecast for the rest of the year?
Well, look, I think it's a really strong year. I mean, even looking at low budget genre fare, the drama made 14 million this weekend. You know, and that's an A24 release. So and that's pretty strong for a lower budget movie. And with, Mario really exceeded any expectations like what we were talking about. I mean, it blew past those.
Yeah.
And look, does it matter if the movie's good or not?
Apparently
If
not.
people are going and having a good time, that's why they go to the movies. So
Well, if it's good, it'll make more money. But
yes. I mean, I'm happy people are going, people are liking it, Look, I think this year is pretty damn strong. I think there's a lot of stuff I want to see both at the low and big budget levels. And I think, obviously, well, we're going to talk about it later, the excitement for for Doomsday. Doomsday is still going on. It hasn't been changed yet. So the excitement for that is definitely there. And that's what a way to end the year. I mean, they're already clocking box office now. Odyssey already sold out its 70 millimeter showings. I mean, are they including those in the first quarter? But I don't know.
I think I think that's pushed for tax reasons.
Yeah. I think this is really John. It's exciting. You know, and I try and go see. I didn't see a double feature this week. I just went and saw the drama. But when I was there was a lot of families, a lot of people there to see both Project Hail Mary and Mario at Irvine Spectrum. There was a lot of people out and about. And you know what? You can gauge people's excitement when you're in a movie theater and you can feel that they're excited to be there.
Yeah.
You know, everything, whether you're standing, the Spectrum to me is like a club. I love that place. And in that lobby, you're seeing people are happy and they're laughing and the bartenders are happy. And it just, it feels good. It feels good to see people out with their friends and family and kids are laughing. And that's what I want. That's what the movie theaters have always meant to me. And I'm seeing it more and more. And I think it's great. You know, because when people go to one movie and they have a good experience, they're going to go to others.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The first quarter for this movie year is now over, and it's been the biggest first quarter they've had since the pandemic. And we've got a lot of big films still to come this year. I think a lot of people's early predictions that this is going to be the biggest year overall since the pandemic are well on their way to becoming true. Do you think we're going to get there? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? My number one most anticipated film of this year is not Toy Story, is not Odyssey, is not Avengers Doomsday. Though I am looking forward to all of those amazingly. But it's Dune 3. Dune 3, the finale to the Denis Villeneuve trilogy is coming upon us. And that is my most anticipated film of the year. It's not going to be the biggest film of the year, but it is the one I am absolutely looking forward to the most. Well, you guys might remember that the Odyssey put out their tickets pretty early for IMAX, and they all sold out really fast. Dune saw that and thought, that was a good idea. We're going to try that. And according to this report in the Hollywood Reporter, Dune Part 3 IMAX tickets go on sale and they've already sold out. Or at least in most of them, they've already sold out. According to this report, in minutes. Now, just like Odyssey, it's in select theaters. So this is select theaters worldwide have posted tickets for the 70 millimeter screenings on the IMAX screens of the anticipated sequel.
How did people know about this? I didn't know about this.
It comes out, people see it, and instantly buy the tickets, and then spread the word. Heads up, some tickets for Dune Part 3 have gone on sale. The first tickets have been posted for the highly anticipated Denis Villeneuve sequel. The seats are specifically for IMAX 70 millimeter screenings in select cities around the globe on opening weekend, December 17th through December 20th. For the moment, tickets are only available for one showing at 7 p.m., which is much the way Odyssey did it when they released theirs. During each theater's location, the list of 19 theaters participating in the first wave is below, including 4 theaters in Los Angeles, 2 in San Francisco, and theaters in other cities such as London, Vancouver, New York, Dallas, Miami, and others. If you want tickets for this first wave, you better move fast. Some screenings sold out within minutes after the tickets went live at 9 a.m. this morning. No word yet on when more tickets for the film will be released. The news comes a couple of weeks after the first trailer dropped for the film. Of course, a trailer that absolutely blew my mind and I absolutely adored and loved. Now, much like I said when the Odyssey dropped, this does not, selling out these screenings within minutes, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be $1 billion film. I'm on record. I do not believe Dune 3 will be a $1 billion film. Dune is just not the kind of franchise that has a wide enough appeal. It's more, highfalutin, you might say, thinking man sci-fi that is not 4-quadrant and it's not for everybody. It's never going to be $1 billion film, but it's going to make a lot of money. Just like Dune 2 made a lot of money.
When's the Warner presentation next week?
I can't remember which day. I think it's on Tuesday. Ooh, I know. I guarantee you we're going to get like 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, bruh.
I'm so excited for that. Anyway, it is still great nonetheless to see quality films like this one, like Odyssey, getting this much ravenous attention and selling these things out quick. Anyway, Rob, I'm going to guess the LA ones are already sold out. I'm thinking the ones that might still be available might be in some other cities. But what do you think about this? Like, the trend kind of started with Odyssey, obviously had great success. It looks like Dune decided to pick up on it, enjoying no less success. What do you think about doing something like this?
I think it's great. You know, I mean, look, I've never seen a social media response like I saw to the Warhawk that was dropped in that trailer. I mean, how many videos were made? People are still making videos like that. I mean, it was look, again, it excites people. I love the fact that people, you know, Dune is kind of a generational event now. I don't know if it's Gen Z, millennial, call it multi-generational, I guess. But you have a lot of people like you and like me that have really been captivated by this trilogy. Mm-hmm. And it truly is, you know, you said, I don't think anything defines what you say experiential events in theaters the way these Dune movies did. Lord of the Rings did, but I don't think you'd called movies experiential events. I didn't know you 25 years ago, so I couldn't speak to that. But, you know, I remember thinking walking out of the first Dune, you know, when I saw it, and I think we saw Dune 2 together. Yeah. That's really struck me because you're not watching a film, you're experiencing a movie. I mean, it's rolling across from you. Look, I mean, just looking at that shot in the theater in 70 millimeter in front of Project Hail Mary, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but forget that. I mean, it's not just that. We can't hear it here. In our seats.
Yeah, no,
when you're there, you're seeing that plus that amazing score and sound editing.
Bro,
it's just amazing.
Unreal. And I mean, you know,
The
that
movie
was
gives you
low
chills.
key imbuing everyone with main character energy. No cap. I just think I just think that it's exciting. People are excited about it, and again, this is what you want from movie marketing, because releasing tickets is just a movie marketing ploy. And I think the fact that it works and it's selling out, it shows that people are stoked. Dude.
Creates FOMO.
Yeah, they're just
it really it eventizes it. You know, that's the word we used when they did it for Odyssey. It eventizes this thing well in advance. And it's great because these are going to be two of the best movies of the year. Right?
Oh, yeah.
These are going to be two of, if not maybe the two best movies of the year. When you're talking about Odyssey and you're talking about Dune 3. So anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The hype is now building for Dune 3. Whether or not that's still going to be Doomsday or not, we will probably know after CinemaCon next week. But whatever you guys feel about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. People in the live chat are saying they're already reselling the Dune IMAX tickets on eBay for $2,000. I remember something similar happened with Odyssey.
My buddy, a viewer of my channel, Thomas Logan, found one for me over the weekend. He goes, dude, you can get in on Odyssey. It's only $150. He sent me the link to buy it off eBay.
I was fortunate enough that a studio friend of ours is going to send me tickets for that.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get it.
Yeah, and there's going to be more screenings anyway. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, you know, we were just talking about how the first quarter of 2026 is off to the best start at the box office that we've had in the first quarter since 2019. And the second quarter is off to a good start because Mario Brothers Galaxy has opened and it officially, now granted, just like I said with other movies before, we're just coming out of the first quarter. It's early, but we now have an official biggest opening weekend of the year so far. I'm sure it won't hold, but it is for now. The Mario Brothers Galaxy movie made $130 million. I think my guess was 120. I think that's what I said last week.
Mine was for the 3-day was 110 and 150 for the 5. And they blew me out of the water on both.
So $130.9 million to easily become the biggest opening weekend of 2026 so far. In total, the Super Mario Galaxy film has now worldwide made $372 million. Now, it should be noted that this start of 130.9 million for its opening weekend does put it behind the first Super Mario movie, which made $146 million in its opening weekend. And before any of you say, yeah, but this Mario Brothers movie opened on the Wednesday, so did the Super Mario Brothers movie in 2023. They both opened on the Wednesday, had a couple of days of box office getting eat up, then had their official opening 3-day weekend. And so the Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie is trailing about 15 million behind where Super Mario's is. Regardless, doesn't matter. Still huge. 130 million, by far the biggest of the year. So now it's interesting to see where it's going to go. Now, I had originally predicted that Mario Brothers going to be massive, maybe even $1 billion film. Did not think it was going to hit the 1.3 something billion that the last Mario Brothers movie did. I feel really good about that prediction now. I think it'll be over $1 billion. But since it's already trailing behind the last Mario movie, and frankly, I don't think this one is as good as the last Mario movie, I think it's going to come in between that $1 billion, $1.3 billion mark. But what a start.
Bro.
What a start. Easily the biggest of the year. And I may not have been a big fan of the movie myself. Doesn't matter. This is a huge go for it. I always got to be happy when films succeed and bring success to the movie industry. This is a good one. Rob, you see these numbers, surprised by the numbers, not surprised. And even though it's starting slower than the last Mario Brothers movie did, how do you see it ending compared to that last Mario Brothers $1.36 billion?
I'm not surprised it opened big after, especially the success of the first film. And I think that, a lot of people went, clearly they're having a good time. The movie obviously has been, I thought the first movie, I haven't seen this yet, but I thought the first movie was okay. It was fun. It was cool to see.
I had fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, the world. But people have not liked this movie as much. I don't know if that really matters. Especially, it's just, it's going to be more telling to see second weekend drop off and third weekend. But I do think, you've got spring break is still happening and you've got kids are out and they go back and see the film. And I think it's kind of impervious, for kids to watch this. And let's face it, people grew up with this. So it's kind of impervious to critics. But then again, if it's not as good as the first film, it doesn't deliver the entertainment value, it's probably not going to make as much.
You're not going to have much repeat viewers.
Yeah, and I don't think this movie's going to make $1 billion.
Oh, you don't think it's going to make $1 billion?
No.
I still think it'll make $1 billion. I just don't think it'll make that 1.3 that the last
It's going
one
to be
did.
the second weekend will be telling.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Not to mention, we got a little film called Michael.
Yeah.
Coming that a lot of those parents may forego taking their kids to see Mario for a third or fourth time in lieu of going to see the Michael movie.
Yeah.
So but then again, the first Mario Brothers had to run into some big films that came out after it in the weeks following it too. So it'll be interesting to see what the momentum is like going into it. Regardless, it's a great start though. It's 100%. A great start. It doesn't matter which way you want to cut it. It is a great start for the Mario Brothers movie. A great kickoff to the second quarter for the box office after new highs for the first quarter. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Mario Brothers have opened to officially the biggest opening weekend of 2026 so far. A little bit behind the pace of the last Mario Brothers movie, but still a huge opening. Biggest of the year so far. Can it maintain that momentum? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. Guys, with that down, we still got to talk about a couple of other things, including the WGA has officially avoided a news strike, which is good, and Luke Cage and the Immortal Iron Fist are returning officially for Daredevil Born Again. We're going to talk about those things and a few things more, but before we do, we're going to take a quick second here and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Mando. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Mando. Spring is in the air, and I gotta tell you, I am pumped to get back outside and start using the pool more. But let's be honest, warmer weather also means one thing: sweat. That's why I've been using Mando whole body deodorant, and guys, this stuff is amazing. Now look, I've tried a lot of deodorants over the years, but Mando is different because you can literally use it anywhere. I'm talking pits, chest, feet, even those hard to reach areas. And what surprised me the most is how well it actually works. So for me, what I personally love the most, it doesn't just cover up odor, it actually stops it before it starts. Mando was created by a doctor who saw how normal body odor was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, and they built this to actually solve the problem. It's clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours, and I can tell you from using it, it delivers. So here's the deal, guys. Don't just mask it. Mando it. Head to shopmando.com and get 20% off with my code CAMPEA. That's code CAMPEA at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide. Again, go to shopmando.com, use the code CAMPEA, and get 20% off. Support the show and stay fresh out there. Trust me, Mando's got you covered. And thank you to our friends at Mando for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, it's not hyperbole to say that it was maybe the closest the movie industry had ever come to totally being obliterated. Number one, we had the 1-2 combination punch. We had first the pandemic that shut the entire industry down. No theaters were open, no productions were running. And then shortly coming after that, the industry in all of its infinite wisdom decided it was a good idea to have a double strike. Yes, this is a good time, the Hollywood industry said, to have the actors and the writers go on strike. Perfect timing for this. That set everything back so terribly much. And one of the big criticisms I had for the studios and the unions at the time was, remember how late they started the negotiations?
Really late into
I remember we railed on that. Like, what the F are you guys doing?
Waited around to the
like
end.
You just sat on your asses and then negotiated with like literally days to go until it was ridiculous. Well, mistakes made, but lessons learned, because a delightfully surprising article came out just before the weekend. This one coming to us from Variety, that the Writers Guild of America, one of the two main things was the writers and the actors who went on strike last time, early in advance, not sitting around, not waiting this time. The WGA and the studios decided, let's get to work early, and they got a deal done before we even started talking about the potential for an upcoming stoppage. The headline reads, WGA reaches a surprise deal with the studios a month before their contract expires. They go on to write this. The Writers Guild of America has made a surprise deal with the major studios nearly a month before the union's contract was due to expire. The Guild reached a tentative agreement on Saturday with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers. The deal will run for 4 years instead of the normal 3 years, a significant benefit to the studios, which will get an extra year without the possibility of a strike. Now, one of the things they go on to say in the article, that was one of the big things that the Writers Guild wanted, was they wanted some cash to replenish their health fund. Because apparently their health insurance fund had been dried up over the years, and they got a big infusion of cash to go into that. They got a lot of the terms that they were looking for. The studios walked away with a couple of terms that they were looking for as well. Bottom line is, they got serious, the two sides got down to business, and they got a deal done. Now, I've been saying for a long time, because people have been writing in and asking, hey, those deals, they're expiring in the next couple of months. Are we going to have another actor strike? Are we going to have another writer strike? And while of course it was possible, I've been saying on this show, it ain't going to happen. There is no way we're going to have another strike. It's just not going to happen. It's simply, to quote War Games, mutually assured destruction. Do you want to play a game, Professor? It was mutually assured destruction. Both the studios and the guilds knew that neither side could afford another writer strike right now, or an actor strike, or whichever strike. It just was going to be signing their own death warrants, and it was going to be killing the industry. And I just firmly believed that all sides, in the interests of self-preservation, would make sure they got this done. But even I, in all my optimism, didn't think it would get done this fast. But both sides were motivated. Both sides seemed to know what was at stake. Both sides gave a little, both sides took a little, and they got a deal done a month early. And all I can say is I gave them crap last time for putting off too long. I got to give them their flowers. Got to give them their flowers. I mean, it even would have been acceptable if they just started negotiating a month out before. That's fine.
Sure.
But to get the deal done, kudos to everybody involved. I believe this will be a very big foreshadow of what we will hear from SAG. I think we're going to hear the Actors Union is going to come to a deal now pretty quickly as well. So this is great. Not surprised to hear it, but a little surprised to happen this fast, and great news nonetheless. Rob, it looks like we're going to be avoiding another work stoppage, at least hopefully for the next 4 years. What's your takeaway from this?
Well, I think like you said it. I mean, to get in front of this and to negotiate this contract before that you had to go into a strike, that's the last thing this industry needed. I mean, LA's production is dying. There's so many questions up in the air about the future of production in terms of AI and things like that. It was great that they got out in front of it. This is what the adults do. And I think it was great. It's great for the industry. It's great for, I think, everybody. And it's nice to see that they had the wherewithal to do it and make it happen, which is what I think. I've often said, John, that I love when Hollywood works right, because you've got a lot of creative people have to get together, interdisciplinary people that make movies, and they should be able to run the rest of the industry the way that a daily production runs, because you're burning dollars every second. So it's nice to see them do this. I'm very excited that we don't have to worry about another strike.
You know what the other thing they avoid is? They avoided doing one of the other things that I was quite harsh on both sides for last time, which was, for some reason last time the negotiators for the studios and for the unions decided to try to litigate this in public. Every single frickin' day was one childish, well, they're trying to do this. And then the outside, well, they're big stupid heads. And it's like, where the fuck are the adults? Where are the grown-ups who are saying, let's get behind a closed door, shut that door, and let's get down to business? Where are the, to quote Succession, serious people? And it would really put a bad taste in my mouth for all of them last time. Like, really a bad taste in my mouth for all of them. It's really good to see it never came to that here. Both sides said, hey, our predecessors, whoever were our negotiating committee last time, we all made a lot of mistakes. Let's do it right this time. Let's start early. Let's negotiate in good faith. Let's keep it all behind closed doors. Let's keep our beef between ourselves and get it worked out. And let's come to a deal. And they did it. And as much crap as I gave him last time, I got to give him that much flowers this time. This is the way it should be done. I'm happy to see it. Listen, and I'm sure in the future, they'll run into some issues where it's like, okay, we got to draw a hard line in the sand on this. And you are too. Hey, I get it, but it's nice to see it being done the right way for a change.
100%.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? We are not going to have to worry about the specter of another writer strike, at least not for another 4 years. Do you expect, like I do, that the actors deal will probably now get done pretty quickly as well? Hopefully, yes. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. I have been absolutely loving Daredevil Born Again Season 2. I quite enjoyed Season 1. I really liked it. But what I said at the time was, it's not quite up to the level of the Netflix Daredevil, but still really good. My terminology was, it is worthy of the Daredevil brand. But this season, I put it on the level of the Netflix. I'm not saying it's better than what Netflix had, but I actually think this season is a significant improvement over even last season. And I actually think Daredevil Season 2 so far is right in the company of the Netflix Daredevil stuff. And that is high praise. I've been really loving it. It still finds a way to shock me and surprise me and give me that visceral feeling. It's been terrific. And we already know that we're getting a new season every single year. No waiting 2 or 3 years for new seasons of Daredevil Born Again. And they're already shooting Season 3. Well, just like Jessica Jones has returned, Luke Cage and the Immortal Iron Fist are officially back. This comes to us from Variety, who've written Mike Coulter, Damn, that's a handsome man. And Finn Jones have been spotted on the Daredevil Born Again set with Defenders co-star Kristen Ritter. Actually, I'm just going to scroll down to this image that they shared. There they are. All three of them on set together. The Defenders are back. You know, we've been speculating.
That's a cool picture.
That's a really good picture.
What's the point of the hoods if
Yeah, like Mike Coulter.
right
It's
at the
like,
camera?
come on, it's like not. We're not going to know who it's. You, Mike. We know it's you. But
The Death Eaters are here. It's Harry Potter.
the Dementors. So we've been speculating on here for a while now that Mike Coulter would be returning because, you know, we talked about the fact that for a couple of years, Mike Coulter was basically saying, hey, you know what? Loved my time doing Luke Cage, but that time is now behind me. I've moved on to other things, blah, blah, blah. But then about 3 or 4 months ago, that tune changed. All of a sudden, he's doing interviews and saying, oh, it would be great to go back someday. And, you know, when his tune changed, we started talking on the show, Rob, about, I think he's coming back. And we all remember, like a year or two ago, Finn Jones, who plays the Immortal Iron Fist, like starting to tease a little bit about maybe him coming back and whatever. And we started to suspect that this would happen. Of course, then the official word came that Kristen Ritter was coming back as Jessica Jones, and we all thought it might just be a matter of time. Well, now it's official. They're there. They're on set. We're not going to see them in season 2 that I know of. I don't know, maybe a quick cameo at the end of the season, but we are definitely going to get the return of the Defenders in season 3. And I'm really stoked about it. I really am. I like the Defenders on Netflix. I mean, it fit comfortably in between the stuff I didn't like Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and the stuff I really liked a lot. Daredevil, Punisher. Defenders was right kind of in the middle there. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. Wasn't as good as Punisher or Daredevil. Wasn't as bad as Iron Fist solo, but I really did like them. I do have to say, though, one of the things that really worked for me was, and you needed it to because of the comics, was the dynamic between Mike Coulter and Finn Jones as Iron Fist and Luke Cage. I really did like their dynamic together. I liked their chemistry together. I thought it fit in well. I think this is great. I really do. Oh. And I'm looking forward. Now, I'm just looking forward to the next half of season 2 of Daredevil. But now we've got something to look forward to next year as well. Anyway, Rob, you heard this news. What do you think about this?
I love it. I mean, I think it's great. I'm a huge Mike Coulter fan. You know, I don't know if you ever watched Evil, the show on Paramount Plus.
I never did, but everybody tells me it's really good.
It's a really weird show, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And he played a man studying to become a Catholic priest. And I just love him. I love him as a presence, and I thought he was great as Luke Cage. And Finn Jones, you know what? The show wasn't great, but he was pretty good. I mean, I liked him. I like when he first showed up, you know, and I'm taking my father, whatever, the family business. But I love them all together. And I love super teams. I thought it was cool that Netflix even did it. They gave us a little Defenders miniseries. I love seeing this happen. The real question is, John, are they going to appear in Avengers Doomsday?
No. Guarantee you they're not. They're not.
Maybe that's why they were together. I don't know. I really don't know. By the way, I have no idea. I'm just asking. But I think it's great. I mean, and by the way, with the whole anti-vigilante squad, they're leading up to this conflagration that's going to, I mean, what I really love about this second season of Daredevil was they took their time to build a foundation. Season 1 might not have reached the heights of Netflix, but you needed that season 1 to get us to where we are for this second season. Because I really
You're talking about Born Again.
Yeah, Born Again. And I really love what they've done. Like putting those last 2 episodes out at the same time was a stroke of genius. Because that was like jaw-dropping.
Yeah, so good.
And I loved so much of it. And it's all been earned. You know, and I think of the whole thing as one long miniseries anyway. I don't think of it as season 1 of Born Again and season 2 of Born Again. I think it's all one long thing. It's like the 4th season of the Netflix series. And I think it's great. And I think bringing these guys in, especially to where they're taking New York and where the city is going and the whole, that these groups of, it ain't going to be pretty. And I'm looking forward to it. I just want more ninjas. Iron Fist and Luke Cage, give me some hand-to-hand. Give me some ninjas, man.
Yeah. Now listen.
Give me some hand.
There is no doubt, the questions were always surrounding. And guys, the Netflix stuff was not in the MCU, despite whatever little seeds they plant around it. It was not in the MCU.
But Daredevil is.
But this new one is. This is in the MCU. And yet, you'd never know it.
Right.
Because you get into, for instance, you get into the events of Thunderbolts in New York City. No mention of Mayor Fisk. No mention of any of these other heroes around. You get into the events of Daredevil season 2. No mention of the Void wiping out a bunch of the city.
That happened a couple weeks before the show started.
But you can't have it both ways. Either Thunderbolts happen first or Daredevil happen first, and neither of them are referencing each other. I remember a while ago, Kevin Feige talking about the fact that, it's all in the MCU, but we're going to keep the stuff on Disney Plus more at arm's length from the movies. They're not really going to inhabit the same space, even though they are in the same world, they're in the same universe. But it's just really interesting. How can you have, somebody asked me last week, and it was a fair question, but it's if New York's becoming this corrupt, where's Spider-Man? Well, yeah. So why is Spider-Man showing up? Well, because this is Daredevil. It's not Spider-Man. I mean, it's just
and the
hard for us to get our heads around, I think, sometimes.
I mean, not everybody is interacting all the time. Spider-Man has his own issues. It's just like everybody's life. I've got lots of friends that live in LA, but we don't have lots of crossover sometimes. Might be a few months before we have crossover. They're in Santa Monica. I'm here in Corona talking to you. So, but I'm excited. I'm excited.
I gotta say this. The one name I haven't heard brought up yet, but is this one. Is Colleen Wing coming back? Because she was by far my favorite character in Iron Fist.
Oh, yeah.
She was great. I love this character. And there's been no mention about whether or not she'll come back or not. So we'll have to see. I got to tell you though, Rob, one of the things that I'm kind of surprised about was just how many people were excited about Luke Cage and Iron Fist coming back. Most day, not every day, but most days I put up a poll in our community tab where I list our 4 biggest stories and I ask our audience, I say, hey, which one of these 4 stories do you think is the biggest and most people will be interested in for us to use as our headline? I thought by a mile the Mario Brothers box office results was going to be the number 1 voted on thing. But the number 1 thing our audience voted on by a large margin, was this Luke Cage and Iron Fist coming back. People are stoked about it. They're really excited about it. So I'm thinking it's going to be pretty fun to have him back too. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It's not a rumor. It's not a report. We got the photo evidence. Mike Coulter and Finn Jones are back as the Immortal Iron Fist and Luke Cage. They are now shooting right now for Daredevil season 3 with Kristen Wiig. The Defenders are back. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take a second here and bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I'm going to go watch Artemis on the Dark Side of the Moon, John.
Ah, yes, as it's starting to make its big loop around.
There actually is no dark side of the moon. It's all dark.
We will talk to you tomorrow.
True.
All right. With that all said, guys, let's get over to the questions you guys have been sending in, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
First up, Maximus Savita says, hey, Johnny boy, thanks for your fantastic work. However, please stop saying Super Mario Brothers Galaxy. It's Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. No, it's implied that it's a movie. Legit enrages me. Oh, okay. Also, I love the movie. It's a 4 out of 10, but I had a great experience because I grew up with Mario. See, this is kind of interesting because people are enjoying like the weird cameos and all that stuff and the roller coaster ride of it, but it's not a great movie and they acknowledge it.
And that's exactly what I said. I said, listen, I think people who are just hardcore grew up with Nintendo and they're just going to see, what is his name? Marty Mole and they just want to see Rosalina, and they
Yeah.
just want to see these obscure characters. They just want to see these cameos pop up, and they want to hear the lines, and they want to hear those music cues. Listen, I said in my review, if you go for that, you're going to have a good time because that's what it's giving you. I just kind of wish that they also decide to make a good movie out of it. You know, because you guess, again, the thing I go back to a lot is the Lego movie, because the Lego movie had all that stuff, but it also decided to put in compelling characters and an actually good story and some really good dynamics. And they decided to not just make a good, fun kids movie, they decided to make a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wish Mario Brothers did that as well, because I think they did a better job of that with the first one. But yes, to me, it's just Super Mario Brothers Galaxy. I don't say Super Mario Galaxy movie. We know it's a movie, so I don't need to say it. Anyway. All right, what's next?
It's the movie. Raymond says, Michael is coming up this month. We already have sing-along movies or concert movies where fans can come up close to the screen like in the concerts. I want to see Dance Off for the Michael movie when Beat It or Bad Plays, but only in those select theaters that say it's a...
Yeah, that say it's for that. By the way, I don't know that you're going to have sing-along versions of the movie, because unlike, say, Wicked, where a musical number is the scene.
Right. We don't know how long they're going to linger on a song.
Yeah, like this isn't that. It's like Michael singing. This is a dramatic reinterpretation or retelling of a concert that Michael did and saying a line in a concert. It's not necessarily playing like a musical. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying I don't know that they will. So anyway, we'll see. All right, what's next?
Carlos says, hi, John. I just wanted to ask you for advice when it comes to writing. When trying to come up with a new story, how would you go about narrowing down a ton of ideas that you might have in your head to just a couple to tell a more focused story?
I mean, one of the standard things that they'll teach you is a card system. You know, you just write out all your ideas. And then once you've written them all out, and remember, I'm not a professional. I've done writing, but I'm not a professional writer. I'm not the best guy to give advice on this at all. I'll just tell you what I've done is I clearly write out all the different ideas that I have. Like if I've already narrowed it down to what my general story is, then I write out all the different ideas I have, and I just start to line out what's the most logical, what's the most compelling path for this story to take. And if there's a couple of ideas that are good ideas but don't fit within that path, then I just set them aside and I just don't do it. So that's just how I have done it. But again, remember, I'm not the best guy to ask that. It's like asking me for what the right way to run the plumbing in your kitchen is. I don't know. I can only tell you what I've done. It may or may not be the best way to do it. All right, what's next?
Pedro says, hey, John, who do you think will more likely get an Oscar first? Oh, this is interesting. Tom Holland or Zendaya? And I think we were talking about that.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's also easy.
Yeah, I mean, interesting that we brought it up.
Yeah, Zendaya.
Yeah.
Okay, we were actually talking about this prior to the show today. We weren't specifically asking, will Tom or Zendaya get one first? But listen, I just saw the drama. Did not like it. It's got huge critic ratings. I personally didn't like it. And I could go into a bunch of spoilery reasons about why I didn't like it. But again, those would be spoilers, so I'm not going to share that here. But one of the things is that Robert Pattinson and Zendaya are amazing performers, amazing actors. Listen, Zendaya's already got Emmys. And I believe Golden Globes, and I believe a bunch of other things. She's already got a bunch of work, and she will win more. Zendaya will have an Oscar. I have very, very little doubt of it. She is really that good. And listen, I believe Tom is also of the caliber that someday he could too, but I think Zendaya is closer to it than he is. And I would bet that she gets hers before Tom gets his. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher saw Project Hail Mary last Friday with my dad. We loved it. My one narrative issue with it was that Grace needed to save Rocky from the Talmiba from eating the Zenonite was one too many narrative complications for my liking, but everything else was magic.
I'm not going to get into all the spoilery details, but that was an absolutely essential part of the narrative. Like without that, you don't get the completion of Grace's journey and evolution as a character.
Right.
You don't get the ending that we get. It was one. That's why it's such a big deal in the book. I'm not saying since it's in the book, it's got to be in the movie. You guys know I don't believe that. but it's such a key, important, pivotal thing. It is 100% necessary.
Yeah.
Because again, some of the most major narrative through lines don't reach their conclusion without that scene or without that event, right?
It is literally the struggle for which his character is dealing with internally the entire movie.
It is the culmination of his entire personal growth.
Yeah.
Of everything about the way he was. You find out what his struggle was. You find out what his personal dilemma was. And then that moment, as a result of the events you're describing, is what brings him full circle to his fruition. It's 100% necessary.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm glad you like the movie. I love the movie. You guys know I do. All right, what's next?
Dookie Shoes. Hey guys, I checked out another one who loved it. A young Sherlock with the recommendation of some of your viewers and loved it. Have any of you had the chance to check it out? It is in my queue.
I have not. I've been trying to. I've been having. Listen, I just got caught up with the newest episode of The Pit last night.
And I'm trying to get caught up with Paradise.
So I find. Oh, you know what? I still haven't watched the season finale of Paradise.
Oh,
So I got to watch that. I'm caught up on Shrinking. I'm now caught up on The Pit. I'm caught up on Invincible. I'm caught up. I'm starting to get caught up. But yes, I do. So many people have been telling me this Young Sherlock series is really good. I am absolutely keeping my eye on it, and hopefully I'll get around to it here soon. All right, what's next?
got another one for Dookie Shoes. Finally checked out 28 Years Later and Bone Temple on Netflix this weekend. Really enjoyed both and would love another. Too bad the box office probably kills that chance of that, unless it goes straight to streaming on Netflix.
Here's the problem. Nobody went to go see them. And because the first one was really not that good, even fewer people went to go see the second one,
Which was better.
which is better. And you can't say, we'll just do it on Netflix. Well, you still have to spend money to make the movie, and nobody watched them.
And they got a lot of Italians to pay.
I really have my doubts that we're going to see a 3. I know they were planning on it, but I don't know who's going to agree to spend the money on it. It's a guaranteed money loser. So my guess, I don't know this for a fact. My guess is we're not going to see a third one. All right, what's next?
Chris says, hello, crew. You guys spoke about Xbox raising its price. Sony just has with the PS Pro retailing at $900. This has the potential to make the barrier of entry unattainable to some, I would say to most. Do you see the component issue also affecting CGI, VFX, camera tech? Yes. Anything that uses microchips and memory.
Right now, especially memory. Right now, like hard drives, memory, the prices of these things are going through the roof thanks to data centers and other things as well. Now, of course, you're specifically referencing the PS5 Pro, which is the most expensive one. Here's my question. Who at this point that is interested in a PS5 doesn't have a PS5 yet? I mean, it's been around for what? 73 years?
A minute, yeah.
Anyway, that aside, yeah, it's going to be affecting the entire industry. Like, it's going to affect everything. Anything that needs memory or hard drives or anything like that, everything's going to get affected. Everything's going to get affected. And so I'm not surprised. I am curious what the just price of a regular PS5 is right now. But
Guess we could look that up.
But yeah, I do expect to see all these things. Like, you're going to see computers getting more expensive, at least in the short term, while we're having these memory crisis shortages and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a part of the reality right now.
Looks like a regular PS5 you can get for $529.
All right.
Yeah,
All
somewhere
right.
there.
What's next?
Raymond says today, good luck Artemis 2 as they may make the farthest selfie shots of the moon. They have also done the farthest Zoom call and have brought maple syrup aboard. All right. They have 5 hot sauces on board because on the ISS, zero gravity affects taste.
I did not know that.
Interesting.
I knew one of the 4 astronauts is a Canadian that's on there. He's also the tallest guy by far. I don't know. He's a tall dude, the Canadian one. I don't know how he sleeps in the bunks. But apparently, this will be, when they do their shot around the moon, it will be the furthest any human being has ever been from Earth. I'm trying to imagine being one of those people. I mean, besides the fact, if I was in that space capsule, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'd be... I'd be terrified and screaming my lungs out.
You get ejected.
Yeah, they probably checked me out pretty quick. But at the same time, like wrap your head around this. No other human being in the history of mankind has ever been where I am now. Has never been this far from the surface of the earth. That's crazy, man. It's a craze. As somebody in the live chat just said, amaze, amaze, amaze. All right, what's next?
Okay, moving on to our super chats. We've got Draco, who says, yes, Draco, I'm looking forward to the new Animorphs show.
I can't say the same. Don't really care about it, but I know there are some people really stoked about it, and I'm excited for you guys. All right, what's next?
Jared says, hopefully next year IMAX theaters will stream a moon landing. I would definitely pay to see that and hopefully get an Artemis 3 popcorn bucket. That'd actually be pretty cool.
I have to imagine, you know, at the end of The Martian, when the whole world was coming together to wait to see if the rescue of Mark Watney was going to be successful.
Right.
I have a feeling it's going to be kind of like that. I think the whole world is going to be watching. When they set foot on the moon again for the first time in our lifetimes. It's going to be pretty special, man. I can absolutely see, maybe not IMAX because it's not filmed for IMAX, so who cares? But I can definitely see movie theaters setting up time that come watch live. You want to watch live? Come watch in this movie theater with 300 other people. I'll be there. 100% I'll be there.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Let's see. We got Colby. Should we be getting excited for the HBO Harry Potter series? With the uncertainty of what's going to happen with HBO Max, with the sell of that doesn't matter. That's still
yeah, that doesn't matter. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to keep going. Contracts are contracts. They pass from one owner to the next. It doesn't matter. So absolutely. By the way, they dropped that little half-hour making of the Harry Potter series.
Oh, I want to see that
documentary. It's great.
I want to see that.
It's great. I'm no Potter. I've had a lot of people tell me this series will turn me into a Potterhead. But I'm watching this and I am getting surprisingly excited to see this series. I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Silent Ghost says, oh no, Patrick says, overreaction, yes or no? Spider-Man Brand New Day makes 4 times as much money as Supergirl. What I mean,
no,
but there has to be a
4 times as
baseline.
much.
There has
Yeah, because I don't think it's going to hit $2 billion. Supergirl, I can see making 500. So that would mean Spider-Man would have to make
2.
Now triple. Now we've got a conversation.
1.5.
But 4 times, nah, I don't see Spider-Man making 4 times what Supergirl does. 3 times, yes. That's the conversation. Like double easily.
Yeah.
3 times that becomes your over under, but 4 times is too much. It'll be less than 4 times. All right, what's next?
Silent Ghost. Donald Glover said he'd be surprised if he doesn't get another Oscar for Yoshi performance.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I love Donald Glover and I'm glad to see him doing stuff. But this is a great example about why does Hollywood insist on getting celebrities to do animated voices instead of getting professionally trained voice actors to do it? Like, what was the advantage of having Donald Glover doing Yoshi? Nobody knew that was Donald Glover. No one will ever guess in a million years it was Donald Glover. Why did it have to be Donald Glover? And I love Donald Glover, but yeah, to me, that's an issue. Anyway, all right, what's next?
Especially when voice actors are already struggling.
Yes.
Earthling, do you believe Avatar 4 and 5 actually happens?
Yes.
I do too.
They just make too much money. Like even this last one, what did the last one make? 1.4. I'm going to say
I'll look it up.
I'm going to say $1.4 billion, which again is one of the highest grossing films of all time.
Almost 1.5.
Almost $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Not a ton of movies can say they've made $1.5 billion. Now it's a decreasing scale for sure, but it's still made ridiculous amounts of profit. So let's put it this way. 5, who knows? 4, yes. Yeah, I think we get a 4. Now, let's talk about 5 after we see what happens with 4, but it's just making way too many. Whenever your film has the word billion in its box office discussion, there's probably going to be another one.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
We got Rich Reviews, Bond film idea. Bond takes on a villain who inadvertently opens up a multiverse gateway and has to team with other Bonds to take him on.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But hey, if some fan film wanted to do like
That'd
a
be
20
fun.
minute of that on YouTube,
Sure.
I'd probably watch it just for fun.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Earthling says, can a Disney Plus live action Animorphs show succeed? Define succeed on a streamer.
Yeah, what does succeed mean? I have no idea. I don't care about Animorphs. I know there are some people out there who really do. I'm excited, and I hope they really enjoy it. But I think there's a lot of people like me that just don't care. But who knows? We'll see. All right, what's next?
Rich Review says, if Roger Ebert were here today, he's been gone 14 years. What would he make of today's films and of the industry in general?
Same as he always did. Some
Yeah.
films he'll love, some films he didn't. He wouldn't. No different. No different at all.
Yeah.
By the way, he was my all-time favorite film critic. Because not because of what most people base their favorite film critics on, which is, do they agree with me? I disagreed with a lot of Roger Ebert's conclusions, but he was my favorite critic because the way he expressed why he felt the way he did about a movie helped me better clarify how I felt about a movie. Even when he hated a movie that I loved, just hear him express and the way he would explain why he felt the way he did just helped me clarify why I felt differently. And like for me, I've always kind of I've tried to model myself after that. Like you guys have heard me say this before, right? My job is not to tell you what you want to hear. It's also not my job to convince you to agree with me. That has never been my job. And I've never cared whether you agree with me or not. But what my job is to do and what I do care about is that when I talk about a subject and I talk about my feelings on it and why I feel the way I do, whether I like something or didn't like something or what have you, that ideally I explain it in such a way that an audience listening to me becomes more clarified in why they agree with me or why they disagree with me. And if you walk away from one of my videos having a clearer picture and a more sharpened understanding about why you disagree with me, then I consider that job mission accomplished. If it sharpens about why you agree with me, that's mission accomplished. Yeah. So, and Roger Ebert was that for me. I often disagreed with him, but I loved the way he got there because it just made me understand my own thoughts and theories and opinions even better. And that's why I liked him so much. All right, what's next?
We got Kyle who says, Mr. Moore says, hey guys, big fan. Did you guys happen to catch the Doomsday Easter drop? Keep up the great work.
No idea what he's talking about.
Nor I, so I guess we didn't catch it.
I know Robert Downey Jr. put out this Easter image and everybody's trying to analyze it to find meaning in it.
Okay.
It was just a fun Easter image, but I don't know if he means anything more beyond that.
Kyle
All right, what's next?
Schneider says, happy the boys week, John. Are you going to be doing an after show for season 5 with it being in the final season?
Okay, here's the thing. I want to, but I don't know. Reason is, I originally planned on doing an after show for Daredevil. But after I watched the first episode of Daredevil, I really liked it, but I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. So I don't know. My intention has been to do an after show for the boys, but I don't know that anybody's going to watch. And I just don't know if there's going to be enough to talk about. Like other than to say, wasn't that part great? So I'm not saying no yet. But I am going to say, I don't know. I was planning on it. But I just don't know now. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Let's just say that. All right. What's next?
We got Silent Ghost. Thoughts on the new writers for Scream 8?
Couldn't care less. Couldn't care. I'm just being honest. You're asking me my thoughts. My thoughts are I couldn't care less. All right. What's next?
David says, hey, John, been a fan since 2013, CMC days.
Oh, thank you, man.
Do you guys get annoyed when TikTokers or outlets run with a story like the recent story about the recasting of Aragon and think Leo Woodall is cast.
Well, no, I mean, look, what I get annoyed with is when, let me see if I'm not sure I'm going to be able to bring this up, but let me see if I can. The thing that I get annoyed with is when they inadvertently, I believe it's not intentional, create the illusion of multiple sources. Okay. So let me give you an example of this. Let me just give me a moment. What drives me nuts? Newts. Nuts. Okay. Let me see if I can get this up here. Okay. So follow me here. Let's bring up the classroom. Okay. Eddie Nobody says, I don't know, RDJ says this. I've heard RDJ is going to be Bond. Okay. So Eddie Nobody on Gus's Gas Station Movie Reviews.fart says, I've heard Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Bond. Okay. So now, movie freaks. By the way, I think I'm making that up. If there's any actual outlet called Movie Freaks, my apologies. I'm not referencing you. I'm just making up a name. Movie Freaks reads Eddie Nobody. So they say, RDJ is Bond? Question marks. Okay. Then, Cinema Douche, they read Movie Freaks and they say, word is RDJ is Bond. Okay, now this is when it becomes annoying. Now we take another outlet, right? And this other outlet is called, I don't know, Film Perv. And filmperv.com comes out and says multiple sources such as Movie Freaks and Cinema Douche report RDJ is Bond. Okay, you see what's happened here. Movie Freaks was not saying RDJ is Bond. Film Perv was not saying RDJ is Bond. Cinema Douche was not saying RDJ is Bond. They were all referencing Eddie Nobody. It all just came from, it was all just Eddie Nobody. Only Eddie Nobody from Gus's Gas Station Movie Reviews.fart said RDJ is Bond. But what happens is, somebody will write into me and say, I'm just using this as an example, but this has happened almost every day. Somebody writes in and says, John, did you hear that Robert Downey Jr. is Bond?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, who on earth is saying that? And they will, as we come back to my screen here, they inevitably will say, well, multiple sources are saying it. Film Perv, Cinema Douche, Movie Freaks, they're all saying it.
And they source it. There's a link.
Yep.
But where does that link go, John?
But when you go, you realize they're all saying they heard it. When you follow the breadcrumbs, it all just came from Eddie Nobody at Gus's Gas Station, right?
Yeah.
That's the part that gets frustrating. I know it's frustrating for other film fans. I know it's frustrating for me, is that really, no, all these other places are not saying that. They're just saying they heard it, and they all heard it ultimately from the same place. It all came from one report, which was from Eddie Nobody. And so quite often, and the only reason that's annoying to me is because then I get flooded with, John, did you hear? It's official. Robert Downey Jr. is Bond. It's like, what? And it creates a lot of confusion amongst the film fans. And then inevitably, 6 months later, when did Robert Downey Jr. leave the Bond project? I heard he was going to be Bond. It's like, he was never going to be Bond. So that is one thing. I'm not, listen, and I don't know what the answer is. That's why whenever we do a story about something that's like, because look, we're not a movie news show. We just talk about movies, right? And so when there's an interesting thing that comes up, whenever it's something like this, we will always try to make sure it's even in our titles, like, rumor claims Robert Downey Jr. as Bond, or Robert Downey Jr. considering Bond says report. And then when we do it, we say where we got that information from. So-and-so is saying this. So we try as good as we can, but I think even doing the best that we can, other people could take that as a bit of confusion. So I'm not quite sure what the answer is. It is annoying, but I don't know what the answer is to it, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
All right. Well, David, congrats for sparking a Campea classroom. Jai CSC says, if Netflix lost their appeal, wouldn't they just credit accounts for a period of time to maintain subscribers as a workaround, or would that be blocked?
That would be blocked. If the courts say you have to send a refund, you don't get to dance around that. You have to send a refund. You don't play around with the courts. When a government court tells you to do something, you don't play games. You appeal it, you try to keep appealing it and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, then you comply and you do what they tell you to do.
And they could block service. If that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
if they really want to,
say,
they could hold you in contempt and like triple your fines.
And you can't show your stuff here. Silent Ghost, thoughts on the latest Invincible episode? Are you even are you watching Invincible?
Yep. Yeah, I'm all caught up. Yeah, I've been waiting for this one because I read it in the comics. It's the result of his second fight with Conquest. It was really good. I was expecting it to be good, and it was really good. Little gross, but very good nonetheless. All right, what's next?
Daniel says, "Real world be gone." So I don't mind trailers before movies like you guys do. Correction, we don't mind trailers before movies. We mind 30 minutes of trailers.
30 minutes of trailers. Yeah.
But during my streaming of Mario, they showed 2 commercials. I lost it. That's part of the problem. That's part of the 30 minutes that we're getting annoyed with. And they interstitch the commercials.
What do you mean by your streaming of Mario?
Yeah.
Like what? Like, are you pirating it? If that's the case, I have no sympathy for you.
Not if he's pirating. Maybe he's streaming it and he has like an ad. Because I don't
Or
like...
are you talking about the first Mario Brother movie?
Yeah, probably. And I don't like that if you're like, I don't mind if they put an ad before at the end of in the beginning and end of a movie, but I hate when they put it in the middle of a streaming movie.
Yeah, but that's that. I mean, it depends what you pay for, right? If you have the ad subscription, the ad supported one, that's what you're going to get. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Austin. I thought Christopher Reeve's cameo in Flash was ghoulish and unnecessary. What were your thoughts?
I liked it. I got a kick out of it.
And the family approved it, and then yeah.
I mean, for what the scene was, I thought it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been odd to do that sequence and not have Christopher Reeves one in there. So, yeah, I thought it worked fine. All right, what's next?
We got Ron. For CinemaCon, are you using the round table format you used last year? I thought it was great. Don't forget your water bottle mic accessory. I hope Ray and Ann also take part on the recaps.
Ray's not going this year, but Ann is going. It's going to be me, Ann, Rob, Soul Video, and Cody Miller will be there.
And Soul wasn't there last year, right?
No, he hasn't gone.
So
this is going to be Soul's first CinemaCon.
This will be a great addition. And a lot of our new viewers don't know Soul. So
yeah, like Soul's been on a couple of times. Soul is literally one of the very first friends I ever made in LA. He was one of the founders of the Fine Brothers Kids React channels. He was one of the founders of that whole thing. He was their CFO for a lot of years. He's now over at Roku. And just had dinner with him the other night. And we didn't think Cody could come this year because, well, I won't go into, we'll tell the story, I'm sure, when we're at CinemaCon. But we didn't think Cody could come. And I really wanted a fourth person other than just me, Ann, and Rob. I wanted a fourth person, and it couldn't be Cody. So I asked my buddy Soul, and he was kind enough to get the time off work. And so it's good. But then later, Cody said, I can come. I was like, great, there's going to be 5 of us then. So yes, it'll be the 5 of us there. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. We got Jai, who says, crossed a classic movie off my to-watch list today. David Lean's Dr. Zhivago.
Nice.
I always quote the one scene, "You deny my sugar." I see why it has had an enduring reputation. Have you ever seen it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, I haven't seen it in at least 20 years.
Uh-huh.
It was some time before I moved to LA that I watched it last. So it's been long, but yeah, absolutely, it is absolutely one of those enduring films.
There was
100%.
there's a scene in it where I think in this scene they were wolves, and he comes out and he sees them all out there and he just throws his arms up like this and they all run. And then one night I was walking out of my parents' house who lived out in the hills of Burbank, and there were 5 coyotes on their front
Oh
yard.
my God.
I walked out and I was like, I wonder if that works. And I threw my arms up and they all ran. It's like one of the times a movie is accurate. Buster
What's
Barnes
next?
says, I feel like the new Supergirl trailer did well in getting people more interested. Do you think the combined elements of herding dog, edgier Kara, and darker tone could harm its box office potential?
No, not at all. I thought the trailer did a really... Listen, I've always believed that, you know, because Superman was so well received and all that kind of stuff, that Supergirl will do well. For me, the definition of well for Supergirl is anywhere between 450, I think upper range 600 million. So I'm thinking 550 is a good. I think if it overperforms, we're talking about the $600 million range. Otherwise, I'm thinking right around 500, 550, and I think it'll do it. And I think that trailer only appealed to people more. I thought it was a really good trailer. I think it's gonna do a really good job for it. All right, what's next?
A few more here. Jay Bling says, regarding the union talks, a certain talking point is that the AMPTP brought on a new negotiator in Gregory Hessinger, replacing Carol Lombardi.
Yeah,
Or Lombardini, sorry.
I believe the WGA had a different negotiating team this time as well. Now, whatever the formula was, again, no public pissing contests, starting negotiations early, coming to a behind the closed doors deal early. Bravo. Bravo to everybody. Bravo to the WGA and their team. Bravo to the Ampatatas and their new negotiators. Whatever the formula was, it worked. And please remember that for future negotiations in 4 years. All right. What's next?
All right. Final one. It's a 2-parter from Mata Shot. They mentioned Val at the start of Daredevil season 2. And then also just says also no Daredevil after show with the sad face.
Well, which we already kind of just talked about. But yes, I am really enjoying the show. I just don't know what to talk about after the show. And then the question became, when would we do it? Like, some people would tell me, oh, do the Daredevil after show the night that it airs. But then a lot of people haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
so,
right.
But then do we talk about it the next 24 hours later when everybody's moved on from the episode?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I'll tell you this much. I'm liking Swordsman more and more.
You know what? The Swordsman in the Hawkeye series was cute. It was cute. But I never thought he would fit into a Daredevil series.
Yeah.
And I now really like this character.
Yeah.
I really like this character now. So, we'll see. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow. Big thanks to Robert Meyer Burnett, to our technical director, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys tomorrow.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.